inside my mind, the phantom of the opera. Sing! Yes! The angel! Guys, the Readathon starts at 12. I almost said p.m. tonight. 12 p.m. tonight. 12 a.m. tonight, and I'm ready for the Phantom of the Opera. Hey guys, what's up? So it is 3:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and the Disney Channel Games opening ceremony just finished. I tragically tried to get a video while it was going, and instead of recording, I just didn't record. And then I ended up recording when I wanted to stop. So here's that cute little clip. Yep, that was me, the idiot. So anyway, I am making a little bit of coffee, and I just finished with, I actually didn't read at all during the opening games because I was working on, I do watercolor bookmarks as a side hustle. So I was filling orders for that. And yeah, so I didn't get any reading done. So I'm actually about to start the Phantom of the Opera, which I thought I was going to start last night, but literally opened the book and fell asleep. So yeah, I am going to start the Phantom of the Opera and get going on this readathon. Hey guys, so I have gotten a couple of chapters into the Phantom of the Opera, and I didn't realize that the author was he put himself in the story. And I did a little research and found that Gaston was actually a journalist turned author. So he is retelling the Phantom of the Opera as an event that happened for real. It was a real thing. And he's giving all the information, and it turned into a story. So interestingly enough, also, and this is not a spoiler because this is literally in the first 2 pages of the book, Christina Daae, she disappeared, apparently. So, what happened to her? I mean, in the musical, I feel like she gets away with her love. So now I'm just what is happening? Anyway, yeah, so lots of things to look forward to. I also didn't realize this was classified as horror genre. What? Okay. They're comparing it to Dracula and Frankenstein, which is so interesting because we did read Dracula in October, and it does kind of have the same writing style-ish. So I'm going to continue on, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, guys, it's day 2 of the readathon. I officially am home from being on set. I couldn't read this morning because I was packing Etsy orders because I just opened a shop, and that took up my whole morning. So now that I'm home, I have made a bowl of chili, and I'm about to get into the Phantom of the Opera. I'm on page 60, so literally that much. I still have 4/5 of the book to go. But yeah, we're basically still in the beginning where he has laid out his terms because the management has switched over at the Opera House, and the new management does not believe that he is a threat to them. So let's see what kind of trouble the Phantom gets into. Okay, y'all, so I'm on chapter 6, but I just wanted to check in really quick because I wanted to mention that at this point, Christine Daae thinks that she has been hearing the angel of music speak to her in the opera house. And Raoul, her childhood friend, does not believe in superstitious things, and so he thinks that somebody is playing a joke on her. So they ended up going to her father's grave, and when they were out there, they heard her father's song. And so when Christine was like, oh, it's the angel of music, she's lifting her head up to the sky. Raoul's looking around, and then he sees a dude behind them, which we can all assume that that's the Phantom of the Opera. So then Christine leaves because she's in her trance, or she's she's just sad because her dad died. Raoul sticks behind because he's like, I'm about to follow this guy. So the Phantom starts running, runs into the church. Raoul catches the edge of his cloak, and then Raoul literally passes out because the Phantom is so ugly. I'm not sure what he looks like. Obviously, he's disfigured. Gaston did mention how people are born without noses. Sorry. So I'm thinking the theory is that the Phantom was just a person born without a nose, so he has like disfigurement. Okay, so they found Raoul the next day and almost dead. He basically was like almost frostbitten and like beaten or something. And then Christine was like giving him the cold shoulder, and then she sent him a letter and she was like, for your sake and mine, leave me alone. So I think Christine knows that this like angel of music isn't like a pure angel. She still seems to be like a little under his spell, but like I don't think she realizes that it's a person, but she does know that like the angel is very like jealous of everybody, like jealous for her attention. So okay, I know I keep updating you guys, but the plot thickens. So Raoul is so upset because he's like, oh my God, Christine doesn't love me, blah, 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 blah. He finds out that she's like hanging out with this dude. He goes to like check on her because she took a like leave of absence from the opera house after the chandelier fell. I don't know if you guys like remember that part in the musical, but the chandelier fell. So she had to take a little leave of absence because she was like, I'm stressed. So he goes to try and find her because Raoul in this whole book, I didn't realize, but he is really like after Christine. Like he is following her around. He's trying to figure out the mystery of the not the Phantom, I guess, but the angel of music that she keeps seeing. So then somebody was like, yeah, I saw Christine in a carriage with some shadowy figure. And he was like, what road? He goes to the road and waits there until the carriage comes back. And he sees Christine in the carriage. And he's like, Christine, Christine. Doesn't even look at him. Rolls up the carriage window and like goes, like continues on. And he's so funny. He says, with lackluster eyes, he stared down the cold, desolate road and into the pale, dead night. Nothing was colder than his heart. Raoul. And then he says how that little fairy of the north has tricked you, Raoul. I'm dead. He's talking to himself. I'd be Raoul. I'd be like, who's this angel of music? I'd be like, y'all are kooky. And it doesn't help that like stepmom, I guess, basically is like, yeah, it's the angel of music. And Raoul's like, where does he live? And she goes, heaven. Totally normal. Anyway, okay. I just thought this funny. They're about to go to the masked ball. So if y'all know the story, this is about to SHIT is about to go down. Okay, I'm excited. The masked ball is one of my favorite scenes from the musical. Okay, I'm back and I have some things to say. Apparently, so the masked ball was not what the musical gave us. Obviously, the musical was a lot more fun. Basically, that didn't happen. And like, if you've seen the musical, Raoul basically is like, I love you. And she's like, I love you too. I guess that like kind of happened. But then she like went back to her dressing room and the angel of music was like singing. And she kept saying, poor Eric, poor Eric. And like, let me tell you, I did not know this man's name was Eric, like for real, for real. So the Phantom is Eric. We found out. And she like went through her mirror, which we all know is like two-way mirror or whatever, into the Phantom's lair. So she went down there, and then the next day Raoul was like, he like went to her house and he was like, hey, what's up? And she had a ring on her finger, like she had just gotten married. And I'm like, and he said that she had like a nice blush on her face and she looked well rested and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, I need to know, did she marry the Phantom? And did they have relations? I need to know if that's what happened. Or is she like playing this game where she's like telling the Phantom that she's gonna marry him? Because she keeps saying she's not married, but she has the ring on, so she's like engaged basically. So like, is she like appeasing the Phantom so that more people don't die? I need to know Christine's end game. Okay, I'm gonna continue on. Okay, so Christine just proposed to Raoul. She's like, I feel very badly for her mental health because she's like playing at it like it's a game. They're only going to be engaged for a month. And I know this girl really wants to be with Raoul, but she feels trapped by the phantom. It's sad. Anyway, we're getting to the point where they go onto the roof. She's basically been hanging out with Raoul every day because the phantom is working. And she said that when the phantom's working, Eric, when Eric is working, he doesn't come out. But then like a trapdoor closed suddenly and they were like, what could that have been? And she was like, oh, it's the trapdoor closer. And Raoul was like, the trapdoor closer. So then she took them to the roof because she was like, we need to go higher. And she started kind of being in like a craze, like a little crazy thing. Because I think she wanted to like get away from maybe the phantom in case he was there. So they go into the roof and the very last sentence was like, there was a shadow that followed her. It was like her own shadow. It stopped when she stopped. And I'm thinking that that's Eric. Cuckoo, Magugu, Eric. Jealous, Magellus, Eric. Stressing me out. Okay, guys, so they were on the roof and Christine told him everything. She was like, I was playing a game with the phantom because he took me down to his lair and held me down there for like a week. And the only way to get out was to convince him that I loved him. Because I, the dumb idiot that I am, ripped off his mask. And he said, I can never leave. Me, Christine, can never leave. Because now that I know that he's ugly, I would never come back. So Christine's been playing the long game here. She's save Raoul, save herself. She feels bad for the phantom because they keep calling him like a deadhead. I am going to look up and see what they mean by that. I mean, I think maybe he's missing skin on his face. Is that possible? I don't know, but she keeps saying that his hands smell like death. And I'm like, this is just horrible. Okay, I'm going to keep going. First of all, yes, everybody, this is all the laundry that I'm supposed to be doing, but instead I'm reading. Okay, so Christine went to do her last performance and then she was going to run away with Raoul. The phantom, as we know, was on the roof of the opera house listening to them make these plans. So like literally nothing is a secret. The phantom knows everything. So she's in the middle of her performance. It's the best performance of her life. Excuse me. And then suddenly all the lights go off and she disappears. So now we have like 4 chapters of all the people like being like, what happened? And the police got there. They were like asking Raoul all these questions and the police were really dirty. They really did him dirty. They were like, we think your brother did it, so you should go after him. And so Raoul was literally about to get in this carriage and go across Paris to find his brother and probably kill him because he loves Christine. And then suddenly this man that they call the Persian shows up. I don't know who the Persian is. I don't think he's in the musical, so we'll find out. All right, next chapter. I'm like, I think I have 60 pages left, so let's get it. So the Persian has guns, and he knows the opera house pretty much as well as the Phantom. That's all we know about the Persian. Okay, y'all. I just finished the Phantom of the Opera, and just wow. The Persian is definitely not in the movie. The Persian's character is basically someone who knows the Phantom. Eric, who knows Eric from his past and gives, the reader some insight on who he is. It was crazy, y'all. Like, I don't want to give it away. I've already given away a lot that happened, but it was so good. It was so good. I'm like an avid Phantom of the Opera lover, and the book is just so different than the musical, than the movies. It's just so crazy. And Gaston Leroux, he is dead set that the Phantom was a real person. Yeah. He's got like all this evidence in there. I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling, but like it was really good. If you guys are fans of the Phantom, I definitely recommend reading this book just because it's like the tale of the Phantom. It gives you a greater insight into who he is. In the book, he's just this man who has never been loved and is incredibly intelligent. He's a master of like tricks, and he's just so smart. And Gaston says this really interesting thing. He says the Phantom of the Opera had to live in a cellar because he was so ugly. Whereas if he had had a better face with his brains, he would have been one of the most distinguished men of his time. And it's like really blowing my mind that that was a real person. He believes that was a real person. And also it really breaks my heart that people hated him for how he looked. I don't know how he looked. I don't know what he was supposed to look like, because back then in the 1890s, it's like people didn't even know what things were, you know? So when in the book they keep saying like skeleton face, they're like referring to the fact that he's wearing a white mask, I think. Who knows? He probably didn't even look as bad as people thought, but it's just no one like had ever seen anything like that before, so it made them uncomfortable. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of sad, but I feel like I want to give this book a 5. Like I just like love what it represents. Should I give books 5s even if I'm not going to read them again? Questions that need answers. Anyway, if you guys have any insight on that, let me know, but I think I'm going to stick with, God, I just love the Phantom. I'm going to think about it, and then I'll let you guys know what I think. Okay, I just watched what I said and did like a little replay. I think I am going to give it a 5, just because, sorry guys, it's late. Like, this book is making me feel, it makes me feel sad and also like hopeful and happy, because it just like is giving me perspective into how the Phantom like really felt. Like, he literally was not loved his whole life. Like, his own mother wouldn't even kiss him, and that's literally all he wanted. Like, he literally just wanted to be normal. I think it's gonna make me cry thinking I'm literally tearing up. Okay, I need to reel it in. Anyway, it's just like, that's just so heartbreaking. Sherman, anyway, it's just really heartbreaking to me that he felt so alone and unloved. And I think I'm going to give it a 5 because of that. Because of the way that was written. And like, no one should have to feel that way. That's a story that needs to be told, no matter how not real it is. Or real it is. Anyway, I'm like delusionally rambling, but yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a 5. That's the whole point. Okay, I'm signing off. I finished Phantom of the Opera. It made me cry a little bit, and yeah, I advise you to read it. It's a really good story. Okay, adios, muchachos. Y'all, the more I think about it, the more I feel like all the details to this story are just so good. Like, there's so many things the movie left out. If anybody has read this book, I doubt it, but if you've read Phantom of the Opera and you want to chit chat about the details in like literally the last 4 or 5 chapters, I would love to talk to you about it, because wow, what a book. He didn't even mean for it to be that good, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, I'm a journalist, I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. But like, look at him being a storyteller, like a story crafter. Some could call him a magician. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go now, for real. All right, peace. The weather outside is a weather. Me every. You don't know the words.
Each moment, say the words, and I will
Follow you. Do 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 do.
take.
Anywhere you go, let me go too.
Christine, that's all I ask of dun 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 dun.
Dun 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 dun. We have seen that movie too many times.
Into me.
Into me.
And
dreams he came. Anyway, we might have a sing-along after this readathon's over.
Power over you.
Doom, doom.
Go stronger yet.
And though you turn from me to glance behind, the phantom of the opera is there inside my mind.
Oh, we got like all three of them.
We should honestly watch that movie. I think I'm going to after I read the book. Okay, babe.